Hey, it's Matt, and today we're talking crossplane technique. But before we do that, let's define some words. So, a crossplane is any aerial, something thrown up in the air, right, that travels from one side of the body to the other. So in other words, we have a plane here, we have a plane here, and a crossplane goes from one side to the other, either side to side or front to back, back to front. Now, the next question is, who should be attempting to throw the rifle in such a way that it actually crosses and breaks the plane of the body? You need to be very, very comfortable with your ability to throw the rifle, and you need to be in total control of where the rifle goes, and you need to know for a fact that when you put a certain amount of torque on the rifle, or you put a certain direction on it, it's going to do what you want it to do. So in other words, here's the test. If we're working with a single side spin like so, and we decide that we want that side spin to go over here instead of right next to our body, you need to be able to put the appropriate force on the rifle to control where it goes. Same thing, if we wanted it to be caught here instead of here, we need to have the appropriate control so that when we throw the rifle, we know exactly where it's going and we're comfortable and confident in where we're going to catch it. So, if that describes you, and this is a little bit more advanced of a movement, then we need to talk about safety next. So, as we're throwing the rifle side to side, if in any point in time you feel the throw is not going to work out, you need to move and bail in the opposite direction from which the rifle is traveling. So if the rifle is going from here to here, we need to go the opposite direction of the rifle. So we're going to go out back this way. So as the rifle's traveling here, we need to make the call to go out and back to the corner. If it's going from here to here, just the opposite. Back to front, if we know it's going forward, we can simply go backward. If we're going forward to backward, we know we can go forward and get out of the path of the rifle. So that's the important key safety information that you need to know. So doing crossplanes successfully really comes down not to a guess and check method, but down to two variables. One is the release point, where in relation to your body are you letting go of the rifle, and two, how much push or pull are you applying in the direction that you want it to go. So we're going to start with the example again of a single side spin, and we're going to work with that side spin. It's going to go from here to here. Now, if we're going to throw it straight forward and catch it normally, our release point's right about here because that's where we want the rifle to come down. However, if we want it to cross our body, what we're going to do is two different things. We're going to move the release point inward, so we're almost releasing on the inside of our shoulder, closer to the middle of our body. So some people might say, is that cheating? Kind of, because we want to actually ensure that it comes down on the opposite side. So we're going to cheat it over just a little bit in our release point. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to apply some force in the direction we want it to travel. We're going to do that through our palm and our fingers, and we're going to be able to feel as we release a slight pressure with the fingers pushing over and a slight push with the arm leading from the palm that's going to cause the rifle to have a little bit of push this way. One mistake that a lot of people make is relying on that rather than adjusting the release point, and it takes a long time to figure out where the rifle is going to come down. We want a combination of those two factors. So, if we're going to throw it from the side to the other side, we're going to adjust the release point so we release a little bit inboard, and we're going to apply force. And when I apply force, I can feel it in my fingertips as the rifle leaves my hand. So that's what I'm talking about comfort. I can feel the rifle as it pushes slightly this way because I'm applying force using my arm so that we get the slight drift that we want. From the side and from the other side, release in, push over, and we move the rifle from side to side. Notice that the rifle is a comfortable distance forward and back of my body. We're not trying to bring it too close, and we're certainly not trying to throw it too far away, which is really the tendency when you want to avoid getting hurt at the beginning. However, a comfortable release point is going to give you a comfortable spot to catch the rifle. If you try to throw it too far forward, you're going to run the risk of hyperextending your arm and your elbow. If you throw it too far backward, obviously that's going to run the risk of hitting the body mid-throw. So wherever the comfortable front-to-back release point is for you, where you could throw it and catch it, you are still going to want to use that release point for your crossplane. So when we go back to front, so let's change it up a little bit. Let's say we did one of these behind the back catches. We're going to toss the rifle from back to front. We're going to do the same things. We're going to adjust the release point so that it's in line with our shoulders, maybe even a little bit forward of our shoulder, and instead of applying sideways pressure, we're going to apply forwards pressure. So it's going to look like this. We adjust the release point, push forward, and the rifle moves from back to front. From the side and from the other side. And you can see that the rifle is traveling, starting from its release near my shoulder to the front of the body. So half of our mission is being accomplished by the release, half of it's being accomplished by giving it a little bit of push or pull. This will now scale up to any crossplane you choose to do. And there's a lot of varieties out there. It's one of those really popular things these days. So if you're looking to throw, let's say, a double aerial from one side to the other, you're going to use the same approach. You're going to move your release point as opposed to throwing double the port here. You're going to move the release point over slightly. You're going to use a pulling force to apply force in the direction of the crossplane. And it's going to allow you to move the rifle side to side. Again, if I don't think it's going well, I'm going to bail out in the opposite direction. So that's kind of your introductory technique for a crossplane. You got to think about the release. You got to think about the pressure, the push or pull that you apply to it. And so hopefully that gives you a really good start if in fact you're at the comfort level where you should start to kind of play with these sorts of moves. So if you have any questions, go ahead and leave them down in the comments below and we'll make sure to get them answered for you.